everybody. Welcome to the Pearlo Wisdom Show. I'm all by myself today, as you can tell. Little Pearlo dance there for you in your general direction. How's everybody doing today? We got maybe the final game tonight. Tampa Bay versus Montreal. Man, Montreal's got a lot. I guess the big thing for Montreal tonight is they have no pressure on them whatsoever, really. I guess they don't really have to, anyways, if they want to look at it that way. Nobody expects them to come back from this. No, I don't think too many people expect them to win tonight, coming home or against Tampa at home. So, and I think it's going to be very difficult to do. As I mentioned yesterday, they've had 10,000 more kilometers of traveling back and forth in these playoffs, and I just think it's wore them down now to a point where it's too tough. They had a couple days off. They were able to muster enough energy to pull one out last game, but thinking that they'll do it again, I don't. I don't think they can do. I mean, anything can happen, and you can't count out Montreal as we've seen in these playoffs, I suppose. But it seems just very unlikely. Who's still in there? How's everybody doing? John Weichel, go Caps! Welcome, guys, to the fine stream here. So what do we got for tonight? I haven't heard if Romanov is going to be back in. I'll look it up here. Are they going to go with the same lineup? I'm looking it up right now as we speak. I got nothing. They haven't said anything about it. Okay, we're analyzing what the lineups could mean for Game 5. I think they're going to roll the same roster. Possibly Evans comes out. I think possibly Evans comes out and they put the kid back in, Kokaniemi back in. It would make sense. I would get as many fresh legs in there as I possibly could if I were Montreal, especially after taking another big flight to Tampa Bay. However, the legs, it would just be Kokaniemi and Evans. That's the only ones I would switch. Yeah, it doesn't seem to have changed too much for Tampa. He's a big loss, but they've got so many ways to cover that up. So they're going to put Evans back in again. Kokaniemi's out again. I don't know if that's wise. I would definitely be putting Kokaniemi back in and Evans out. Evans didn't have a great game, so. But who am I to say? Price has got to be on top of his game tonight for sure. They're done otherwise. It's really the biggest thing for them. Price has got to equal Vasilevsky in order for Montreal to have a chance to win any game. Certainly a game where you're going back to Tampa Bay. Hey, Lauren, how you doing, buddy? You're going back to Tampa Bay where the anticipation is going to be enormous. The fans should be extremely loud. And the motivation for Tampa here, I mean, you don't want to lose this one. You lose this one, and then there starts to be a little doubt in the mind that it can weigh on some of the players or a person's mind that are we going to be the team that drops a 3-0 lead? Like it's just those questions start to formulate in maybe some minds, not everybody. But it's possible. Yeah, they won last game without KK, but I think they're a better team with KK, regardless if they won last game. Uh, KK hasn't been. He's. I mean, either way, they're overmatched, really. Anyways, um, let's take a look at Montreal's lineup. Who are they putting in that third spot? Yeah, Jake Evans is the third. I don't know. I'm just not a fan of that. Uh, Evans, Byron, Lehkonen lineup. I think if you're gonna win, Kokaniemi has got to be your guy. I'm a little concerned there. Um, I could be wrong. Like I said, I don't think he looked that great. I know he got a point, but to say that he looked great, looked good in the last game, I think we'd be stretching it a tad. Um, but it's not me to make that decision. Uh, he is a little older than KK, but maybe KK's hurt too. That's the other thing that we don't know. We don't know about injuries and stuff like that. Romanov will be the hero again. You think Montreal's going to win again against Tampa tonight? I think it's going to be a tough one. I think it's going to be, I think Tampa's going to be pretty motivated to put this away tonight. And yeah, like I said, they're going to need a huge game against Price. When you look at this team on paper, but I mean, you could have said that for just about every series. Yeah, I think it's possible that Kotkaniemi, because we don't know what injuries like are happening that you can play with them, but they're very limiting. So it's pretty possible that he has some sort of limiting injury, and that's the reason why he's out is too. Yeah, it's not going to be an injury that he can't play with, but it could be an injury that's limiting him in certain areas, especially if it's limiting him on the faceoff. If he's got a hand or wrist sprain or something that is causing him problems on in the faceoff, or maybe he's got an injury that is preventing him from playing down deep. Yeah, I don't know what Drouin. My heart's with Drouin. There's obviously some issues, maybe mentally or what have you, with Drouin that we don't really know about. So it's unfortunate. I mean, he's struggled everywhere he's gone. When you look at Drouin in Tampa Bay, he was very immature at the very least. He was very immature at the very least. Tampa Bay was just doing what Tampa Bay does and moving him along slowly. Um, from what I understand, he had a father that was one of those like kind of crazy hockey dad guys that was very hard on him, but on the same note, made him think he was the best guy ever, and he got offended very easy. Um, so when he didn't get ice time, he took it as a slight against him, and he couldn't get his head around the fact that you know that he wasn't thought of as good enough. In other words, he thought extremely highly of himself, and Tampa Bay was never saying, "Hey, we don't believe in you." He was just saying that you're gonna have to work your way in. Especially Steve Yzerman, if you've noticed in Detroit, everywhere he's very cautious as he moves his young players up and stuff like that. And Duran was looking around the league and he was seeing a lot of players that were in that draft that were playing a higher and higher in the lineup and all of those things that they were before. Let's look at like for instance, Seth Jones was playing a lot of minutes in Nashville already, I believe. Um, what was that draft? Let's look up that draft. 2013. That was the 2013 draft. 2013. That was the 2013. Oh, I could tell you what he thinks. He doesn't like it at all. Uh, so it went McKinnon, Barkov, Drouin, Seth Jones, Elias Lindholm, Sean Monahan, Darnell Nurse. And Drouin was projected to be like have the kind of skill that Kane had. And he looked like he had like a lot of that. Of course, Alexander Barkov was playing in Florida, and he played pretty quickly. And Nathan McKinnon as well. Seth Jones played for Nashville fairly quickly. And he was looking at this and thinking that, he wasn't getting a chance in Tampa. But he was very immature about it to the point where he asked to be traded. And we know what happened there. I've talked to Peyton about the Duncan Keith, and he doesn't like it at all. He basically says we don't need old guys like that in our lineup. I don't want to put words in his mouth, but he's not fond of it at all. Yeah, and that was the other thing, right, Lauren? He was in the QMHL where defense isn't taught at the best level there in the QMHL, and Stevie Yzerman's going to want you to be responsible in your own end as well. So it's not that he didn't have the skill; he was just being asked to take things one step at a time, moving forward. At one point, basically, it came out that the coach Cooper said, "You're just not ready yet." And he goes, "What do you mean?" He goes, "You're just not. Just simple. You're not. It's nothing bad. It's just you're not ready yet. There's a level that they want their prospects to be at, and if you're not there, they're not going to play you a lot of minutes until you are." So he got mad about that, and it ended up getting traded, and then we know what happened. I mean, that was a terrible trade by Montreal, giving up Sergachev for him. Man, he would look good in Montreal right now, wouldn't he? Wow. It takes a while for QMJHL players to adjust to the league. Of course, we know we know there's a lot of QMJ guys that have come along just fine, but it's a very offensive league, and sometimes the numbers look like you'll say, "Oh my gosh," like eye-popping numbers, but it's because it's offense is stressed a lot there, and defense isn't really brought along as well as it probably should be. So. Yeah, the French Canadian part. I mean, they saw an opportunity to get a French Canadian kid who was projected to have like Kane like skill, and never really just came around for him. Going by all the issues he may have had, there could be several. There could be dependency issues. There could be all kinds of stuff like that. So whatever it is, he took a lot of time off now, and I really hope that he can do whatever he has to do and come back stronger than ever. So, Sasha, how you doing? I forgot to share my live. That's right, I forgot about that. I just thought about Sasha. I forgot to share my live. Sasha, awesome. Thanks for coming in, man. I'm going to share this out a little bit. I forgot about that. Thank you for reminding me. I don't need to share it to Sasha, that's for sure. I haven't seen Jay Punselin for a while. Jacket's really busy, but we're going to try him out. By the way, guys, go over to my Twitter there. Pearlo's NHL POW. And sign yourself up there too, if you have Twitter, that is. All right, I shared it out. See if we can get some more people. I'm not as sour on Duncan Keith as Peyton is. I don't mind it. I just some of the packages I've heard we might give up for him. No, I don't like it, and I'm not a big fan of it if they're not going to retain money. He's making $5 million a year. I think at this stage he's probably a 5'6" defenseman. That's too rich for $5 million a year. If Chicago's willing to retain, and it's not going to cost much in assets, then I don't mind the deal because we could use cups in the room, that's for sure. And he certainly has that. And we could definitely use some strong leadership to help out McDavid, who's still a really young guy, right? So, I mean, yeah, I think it's pretty good. Lauren Brindamore is always going to say that he's going to take, or Brindamore, or most teams are now. It's getting less and less, but it used to be the standard statement that we're going to take the best player available. Because if you don't say that, then you take somebody because of position. You're kind of telling the player you weren't the best player available, and that's not really something you want to do. So it's possible at that time that that's exactly what they do because they have a late draft pick. There could be, all things being equal, they'll probably go with a hole that they want to fill. But if a player, if they're really high on any player on any position, much higher than any other position, I imagine they take the best player available. Yeah. Derek Ryan to the Leafs does make sense, John. I kind of like that. That does make sense. He's very good defensively. He's not bad offensively either for a bottom six role. The only thing about Derek Ryan is he doesn't bring the pain. Like he's a pretty soft player for the bottom six, and Toronto kind of has a lot of those already. But interesting. I never really thought about it, so it's like I could see Toronto doing it, especially if they can't find like the exact player they're looking for. He wouldn't hurt the team, that's for sure. And I don't think he would cost all that much at this stage of his career. He's kind of a late bloomer guy too. He didn't really get into the league until he was like 29, I think it was. Derek Ryan is a cheater. Okay, tell me what that is, Lauren, because yeah, of course Derek Ryan played in Carolina. How is he a cheater? Hey, I never thought about that, Bill. That's why I love talking about you guys. I never thought about that where Keith is kind of like, yeah, maybe I want to get out of this media hotbed of all of the stuff that's going on now. And kind of, I guess his son lives in Penticton. So he's wanting to go somewhere in that area. Ultimately, I think it's possible he could end up in Seattle. But they would basically be giving him away for nothing to Seattle because Seattle doesn't need to take that contract at all. So, oh, he takes shifts off. I know. Well, I mean, he dives, but yeah, he's soft. He's a soft player. He's kind of a perimeter guy. He spent most of his career in Europe, which is probably perfect for him because it's a softer league. But he's got enough skill and he's got enough defensive awareness that you can play him in your bottom six, all right. I just wouldn't want to pay him more than like 900,000 or something like that. Ultimately, it would be best if he was like your 13th forward or a guy that you don't play every single game. When injuries come up, he can fill a spot and he's okay. I think Walmart might end up going into Europe. Yeah, Lauren, I think Lauren's right there. I think Walmart might, this might be his swan song for Walmart. He's gone to a few teams now. He hasn't been able to make any real rosters. Any of the offerings right now are going to be league minimum. I'm sure in the KHL he can make financially do better off. Which can you give me a actual link for those roster predictions for Seattle? Because I wouldn't mind I wouldn't mind doing that right now. Let's look it up right now because that's going to be the kind of the story of the next little while. Bleacher Report. Let's look at that. Do you want me to put up the? Do you guys want me to put? Bleacher Report has something out here. They got Bleacher Report has them getting Michael Backlund. Are you serious? They're going to give up Michael Backlund? I mean, I don't even like. He's a tradable commodity. If Calgary put up Backlund, I would take him and trade him. Carolina's Brady Shea. I think that is likely the case. Let me change my title too. Isles trying to trade. Hey CL, how you doing? Okay, I'm gonna change my title here while I'm talking to you guys because we're gonna get on to some Seattle talk here for sure. Hey, CL, yeah, well, good. It's trying to trade Jordan Eberle. Okay, that New York Islanders trying to trade Jordan Eberle. That's going to be a difficult chore. I think they're going to have a difficult chore. I think that's kind of the place where uh, I think that's kind of the place where they may have to give something to Seattle to take them. Yeah, they're trying to trade Everlay at 5.5 million. Um, I mean, he's a 40 to 50 point player. He's kind of overpriced in this cap world right now. Um, I don't think it's impossible that a team might look at him, but it wouldn't be for the draft. It would be after the draft. So they'd have to work out a deal after the draft. If they can do that, then they'll probably won't expose him to Seattle. Um, but is how many teams out there that are contenders that Everlay is going to be better than what they have? Uh, I don't think too many. And without giving something significant back in return, where is really what they don't want. They don't want anything back in return, I would imagine. Um, So, and he's a winger. That would be a very difficult trade. It'd have to be somebody with a lot of cap space, but still, still sort of in contender land, like maybe the Nashville Predators after trading Arvidsson. But then why would you trade Arvidsson? I mean, you're going to take those picks and get Eberle? Is Eberle really that much better than Arvidsson for $1 million more? I don't think so. Maybe, I mean, the Edmonton Oilers would probably take him back, maybe, but they'd have to give up the same amount of money back. So, oh, Lindholm in Calgary, yeah. You think they should trade Elias Lindholm? I don't think so. I mean, unless you're getting a lot back. I mean, he's probably the only piece in Calgary that is really worth much right now. I mean, not really, but I mean, I think they're going to trade Goudreau. I think they're going to look at trying to trade. I think they're going to look at trying to trade Monahan. Sorry, I brain farted there. And guys like that. But I think Lindholm is going to stay because he can play like several positions. He's not making too much money. Lindholm is only making like he's got a great contract. Yeah, I think that's one guy that will be staying in Calgary for sure. I'm trying to find something that just shows like a mock expansion draft. The Hockey News has one, but like they just show the roster of everybody on there so we can look at it. Okay, so let's look at this. Okay, we'll go with the Hockey News and the Bleacher Report. We'll go between the two. Oh, I had it. Where is the Bleacher Report one now? Are you serious? It didn't come up this time? Yeah, Bleacher Report. Okay, we'll go between the two. And we'll see what one says and the other one says, okay? And I'll put it up on my I'll put it up on the window. I'll put it in the window. And we'll see what each one of them says and whether we agree with it or not. My window capture. There we are. Get my face out of here. It's going to take a little bit. The first one, yeah, I'm going to do Bleacher Report and the Hockey News. Those are two pretty good publications. Pretty smart guys there. And then we'll go from there. Okay. Can you guys see that all right now? The first one has This is Bleacher Report. Oh, this isn't hockey news. Just wait. I'll get hockey. Yeah, this is hockey news. Okay. The first one has Anaheim taking Kevin Shattenkirk from the Anaheim Ducks. Or say Seattle taking Kevin Shattenkirk. If they did this, they would be to trade him. I don't think this would be wise. I don't think this would be wise. We'll look at Montreal. We'll look at Anaheim. Hey Joey, how you doing, buddy? We're looking at what each team is going to give up in the expansion draft, and we're looking at Hockey News, the Hockey News, which is a very popular publication, and Bleacher Report, which is also very popular. They're not going to have much to choose from, I admit. I mean, why? They're going to leave. They're not going to protect Shattenkirk. They'll protect Fowler, Manson, and Fleury. Why would you take Shattenkirk? I would take Jacob Larson. Why in the world would you take Shattenkirk in that spot? If I have to take a defenseman there, I would go with Jacob Larson. They're not gonna protect Adam Henrique, and I'm not gonna take him. Silverberg, maybe. 1, 2, 3. Nicholas Deslauriers. 5, 6. Maxim Comtois. 7. Alexander Volkov would definitely be protected. So you might be able to get Max Jones. I think they'll protect Comtois and Volkov. So who would you take over Max Jones, Shattenkirk, or Jacob Larson? I would be all over Jacob Larson. Hey Joey, how you doing, buddy? Am I wrong here? Jacob Larson, right? But I don't know why they would put Shattenkirk. Let's hear what their reasoning is for it. Shattenkirk was our original predicted by the Kraken, with Anaheim heading towards a possible rebuild. Another disappointing season. The 32-year-old defenseman should remain a tempting expansion draft target. What's tempting about him? He had a poor year last year, and he's 32 years old. They don't really give a reason why. I just don't think that's what I wouldn't be doing that. No way. I don't agree with the first one. So he's not very good, but he's young and he has some upside potential. I would rather take him over Shattenkirk. Shattenkirk has no upside. I don't think you're going to really be bringing in too much. I don't think you're going to be bringing in too much value for Shattenkirk. Like, I don't think you're going to be able to trade for him and get much of a pick for him. I think Victor Rask might be left available. It's possible. I don't know if they'd want to take him or not. So the next one would be the Arizona Coyotes say Tyler Pitlick. And the Hockey News says Tyler Pitlick for Arizona. Christian Fischer, that's about right. One of those guys. It doesn't really matter. Arizona doesn't have that much to be able to give up anyway. So that's really a nothing. Nothing really doesn't mean much. Let's look at the next one then. Boston Bruins. We did this before, and we had Trent Frederic too. I like that pick. He's young. He's got upside. I think he's got offensive upside. He certainly has. And then Boston Bruins take Ondrej Kase. Ondrej Kase has looked terrible so far. I would definitely take Frederic over Kase if that was the choice between the two of them. Um, Not to mention, they don't even mention Lauzon or Lazon, who looks like he could be available. Um, but forwards are going to be harder to find than defensemen, and Lazon might not be able to play in their top. So I don't think DeBrusk is going to be left off. There is value in DeBrusk, so I think I think Boston will hold on to DeBrusk. They can trade him for value, so I don't think there would be a real reason for them to give him up for nothing. I'm sure there's someone out there that will at least give a second round pick for DeBrusk. So I think they'll protect him. Uh, as far as Lazon, yeah, I just mentioned Lazon. Lazon is kind of weird that they wouldn't have Lazon in there. Buffalo Sabres Colin Miller, and I believe it's the same for Bleacher Report. Bleacher Report are saying Colin Miller. Again, I mean, this is an older defenseman. He was on an expansion team before. If he plays well, you might be able to get some value out of him, I suppose. Let's look up Buffalo. See what. I don't think they're going to be given much, so maybe it's just a case of they got nothing else to give. So it's the best value player that you can get. Skinner has a no movement clause. That'll always be funny. I think I got to move something over here. You guys can't see when I go over here. Go back here again. If I do that, you're not going to be able to see the other one, I think. Maybe we'll see. We'll look at the Buffalo Sabres. What do you got? Anders Bjork, maybe that's possible, I suppose. I think Bjork has enough upside, and Boston, to possibly turn into a scorer that I think that they'll hold on to him. They really got to hold on to any possibility that they can get depth scoring in Boston because they need it really bad. But they'll protect Skinner. They won't protect Okposo. Olofsson, Bjork, I think, Tage, Thompson, that's 1, 2, 3, 4. I don't think Cousins has to be protected. Wow, I mean, there's not much to protect here. Reinhardt, Asplin, Middlestat. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, there's nothing going to be left. Maybe Ristolainen, Dahlin, and Jokiharju. Yeah, Colin Miller might be the only player they can really pick that matters at all. So I have to agree with Colin Miller there. Colin Miller is a right-hand defenseman too, and they're hard to find. So I don't think you can get a second-round pick for Shattenkirk, honestly. He had a terrible year last year. And I don't think you can get, like, maybe a 4th or 5th or something like that. That's about it. And he's making a fair amount of money, so is he going to, unless a team thinks that they can play him in their top 4 or something, I don't see there being much value in Shattenkirk. I wouldn't see it. Yeah, he went to the Buffalo in the Taylor Hall trade. Yeah. I think they'll hold on to him for that reason, the Taylor Hall trade thingamajigger, and also for reasons of the fact that they just need. Can you guys see this now? I switch it over here. See, now you can't see this. Jeez. I gotta go back. I'm just learning this stuff, guys, so bear with me. Yeah, see, now you can't see that. Okay, Colin Miller. We'll go to the next one now. See if we can get through these today. Now, this is weird, okay? Bleacher Report has Calgary Flames letting Michael Backlund go. I just don't see that at all. Michael Backlund's a good two-way guy. Like, if they just let Backlund go, then they're in a tear-down rebuild situation. I just can't see it. We'll look at this is old. My gosh, they still have Sam Bennett. Obviously, that's not going to be the case. I'm going to actually, you know what? I'm not even going to do this one. We'll just look at that Bleacher Report one because this is obviously not updated. Let's see if we can find someone a little bit. That was May 7th. May 29th. Who was that? I'm really surprised by some of the. Oh, no, that's. But that's not good. I'm surprised we don't have any newer ones here. That's the old. We're just going to stick with that one, but I cannot see that. He's not very good, but he's probably the best one available. Yeah, I wouldn't be trading. I can't see them doing that. Let's look at Calgary's. Calgary's roster. Why would you let that? You're going to protect Matthew Tkachuk, Johnny Gaudreau. You're going to protect Sean Monahan. He still has value. That's 3. You have Lucic said he'll waive, so you don't have to do that. Lindholm is 4. Mangiapane is 5. You don't have to protect anybody. Why would they put him up? Dylan Dubé is 6. No, they're not letting Backlund go. No way. No way. Giordano will. They could let Giordano go to Seattle, I suppose. I still think there's value in Giordano, so I don't know why you would just let him go for free. 1, 2, 3. Oh, because so you can protect Tanev. They let Giordano go. I guess take Giordano and I bet you could trade him, even though he's only got 1 year. You could probably get a little bit for Giordano. I mean, that would still leave Oliver Shylington. I would take Oliver Shylington if I was to take anybody out of these. Even over Giordano. I don't think you're going to get much value. I would take Oliver Shylington. I think that's what they're going to take. He's 24 years old. He just hasn't got an opportunity in Calgary. He's a good offensive guy. He's poor defensively, though. But you could work with him. He's still got a couple of years of upside yet before you can say he's not a good player. Why they said Backlund, I have no idea. That is weird. Now, the Carolina Hurricanes, and I bet you Lauren will be in on this one, they say Brady Shea. Brady Shea. That wouldn't surprise me at all. That makes some sense. What do you say, Lauren? Do you think they're going to protect Bean over Shea? Probably, right? Yeah, it's probably Brady Shea. I would take Brady Shea. He's got value. He's only making $5 million. I would do that. The other option would be 1, 2. You got Stahl, Teravainen, yes, 3. Nino Niederreiter, yes, 4. Trocheck, 5. You could possibly let Nietzsche's and Either, yeah, you could maybe you take Fogel instead, but I would take Shea. I think Shea is a guy that can play in your lineup for a long time. Yeah, Shea would be the guy. Now we're doing this offhand because I don't. You have to have 14 forwards, a certain amount of defensemen, and all that kind of stuff like that. I'm not going through all that today. We're just looking at like the best players possible off of each team. Um, the next one would be the Chicago Blackhawks, Calvin DeHaan. I'm not taking Calvin DeHaan in a million years. There's no way. And I know there's not going to be much out there, but yeah, I would probably protect Lorentz over Fogel too. I like Lorentz a lot. I think they went over these pretty quick because if you're actually going to do it, I've tried it. It's a lot of work. Like to sit there and try to do each one. Of course, Duncan Keith will probably get traded after the draft. It's highly unlikely that they'll protect him though. Maybe I don't think Seattle would take him. Um, you have Connor Murphy. I think you got to trade Zadorov at the moment, or not trade, protect him at the moment. So that means they're going to protect Riley Stillman instead of Calvin DeHaan. Maybe DeHaan is the best player that they could have. You got Patrick DeBrincat. They won't unless they get a first round pick next year. He just gets protected for sure. Absolutely. Kane, DeBrincat. Kubalik is a rookie. I don't think he applies. You don't do Brett Connolly. Stillman, or Strome, yes, that's 3. Ryan Carpenter, 4. Kirby Dach. Has he played enough yet? I don't think he has. Yeah, they don't have too many people to leave out. Jeez. Calvin DeHaan might be the only one they could take. Not much. If you don't take Calvin DeHaan, you're taking some rookie to fill your, let me see, non-roster. Brandon Peary or, yeah, they've set themselves up pretty darn good there, Chicago. There's not if I took Calvin DeHaan, I'd try to trade him right away. I mean, what good is he to you? He's 30 years old. He's a UFA next year. And with all the defensemen that are going to be available, it's not ideal. But it doesn't look like there's any other one that you can take. Alexander Nylander, he's been injured. I think they would protect him, but still, it leaves like nobody. It leaves nobody. So they've set themselves pretty well there. And all right, let's look at the next one. Colorado Avalanche, Devon Toews. Are you mad? Oh my gosh. Devon Toews. There's got to be a better way. There's no way that they are going to take Devon Toews. There's just no way. Absolutely not. One thing I would like to look at is Chicago. Who are their free agents? Do they have any free agents? Before I take DeHaan, I'll call up Vinny Hinostroza and give him a good contract to play. That's what I would do. He's a UFA, and we got a window, and give him like he's never made over $1 million, so give him like $1.5 million for 2 years. He'd probably sign it in a heartbeat. That's what I would do. So that's what we're gonna do there. But Colorado giving Devin Taves, these are people that write for a living. Like, there's no way Colorado's giving up Devin Taves. Now, also we have to realize that there could be trades that happen before the draft, and I know Colorado's pretty stacked. I'm pretty sure they're going to be able to find a spot and get some picks for some of these players, but I'm leaving Nazem Kadri out unless I can trade him, and I don't think you can. He's just too much of a problem. So you'd have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That would be, I guess that would be assuming that Eric Johnson doesn't waive his no trade. Now, for sure, Eric Johnson's going to waive his no trade. There's no doubt about that. He's going to. So, no, and they're not going to take him if they do. So you'd have Gerard, Makar, Taves. It's Ryan Graves all day. But the problem is there's so many defensemen. We're just taking defenseman after defenseman after defenseman. I think you'd have to end up taking Joonas Donskoi. You need a scorer. He's only 29. I think that's who you'd end up having to take there. Jonathan Toews, yeah. That makes how many busts? What makes how many? Who was a bust? Who are you talking about, Lauren? Oh my gosh, have we almost gone an hour already? Holy crap. That's crazy. Didn't even realize we've almost gone an hour already. Okay, who's next? There's no way it's Devin Taves. There's no way. We know that already. So next. Oh, this is old as dirt. Are you kidding me? Dean Kukan. Oh, no, it's not. Kukan. Dean Kukan. Okay, I don't see Dean Kukan being there for Columbus. Let's take a look at it. If he is, yeah, I would definitely take Dean Kukan. Because I don't think they're going to have too many forwards. Atkinson, Bjorkstrand, Max Domi probably protect. For Boone Jenner, Jack Roslovic, Stenlin. Yeah, there'll be nobody for forwards. Oh, I don't know if Tessier needs to be. There's going to be nobody for forwards again. It's going to be very difficult for them to get forwards. My gosh. Yeah, Seth Jones, Werenski, Gavrikov. Kukan is the guy. I don't know if they're going to be able to do that. They're going to have to take, I think they're going to have to take a lot of defensemen and trade them. See if they can get some forwards for them. But Kukan is the guy there. It's got to be Kukan. Unless you want to go with Gabriel Carlson, who's younger, but hasn't been able to find his footing in the NHL. Andrew Peak, is he... Has he played enough games? I don't think so. Yeah, I don't think he's played enough games. So, um, go next. Who's next? This is weird. Like looking at these, Anton Hudobin from Dallas seems like the likely pick there. Yeah. They don't want him. They'll expose him. You need one. You need a. You need one veteran goaltender. He also has value. There's going to be people out there that want him, so you could use him for a trade. I don't. I think they protect Boone Jenner. He's too much of the fabric of the Columbus Blue Jackets. Uh, and I don't know if I want to take him if they do put him out there. Dean Kukan's only 27. He can play in the league. So I think that is the guy. I think they protect him because they don't have to leave him out to protect another forward. So I think that's who they protect. What was I just talking about? Oh yeah, Dallas Stars. Uh, the thing with Dallas is, as you can see, there's not many goaltenders available. Like you thought there was going to be a lot, but there really isn't. Um, Alexiak's a UFA, yeah. So I would be reaching out. No, you don't need that. Can we get any forwards here at all ever anywhere? You got to protect Ben. You got to protect and what if they got Ben or Ben to waive? I don't think he would waive because there's. I think they would take Ben. Maybe he's overpriced at 9.5 million. Maybe not. Uh, one, two. Maybe Jason Dickinson. I think I would take Dickinson. Has he played enough games? Yeah, he's played enough games. I think I would take Jason Dickinson or Hudobin. Hudobin might be the play because he's got value. I don't know. That's a tough one. It depends on how much you like Jason Dickinson, I suppose. A lot of people do. Oh, we're doggy time already, man. We're just flying through this, boys and girls. All right, we'll get into the rest of them after the break. I'm very surprised that the break is here already, but it is. So we'll see you in 2 minutes, 3 minutes, something like that. And we'll be back right after these messages. If I can find it.
Greetings. This is Steel Flyers from the Steel Flyers All Sports Network, and we have two very special guests. We are delighted to be joined by Tracy Musser and Nicole Howard from the Canine Country Club Resorts. Tracy and Nicole are both managers for CCC Resorts and work at the Windsor or at the club, one of two locations both in Manheim, Pennsylvania. Congratulations on your 30th year anniversary of being in business. Let me start off by saying this. Steel Flyer stands behind this company 100%. Taken care of Steel Flyer's furry friend for the last 2 years now, and they are a one-stop shop for everything your furry friend needs. In fact, let's find out what our friends at CCC Resorts offer. Nicole, how are you today?
Good. How are you?
Doing great, thank you. What are some of the great boarding services that you guys offer, and what do we have to do in order to get our furry friends taken care of when we are unable to travel with them?
Well, we like to bring everybody in for a tour first. That way they can see the behind the scenes, they can see where they stay, they can see where they play, and then we explain all of the fun things that we can add on to their reservation, whether it be one of our packages, either a nature walk, a ball time, or even a cuddle time.
Oh, wow, that sounds great. Boy, it sure sounds like a resort to me. So, how are you today, Tracy?
I'm doing well, thank you.
Tracy, tell me, is it true that you guys have both an indoor and an outdoor pool at the Windsor location?
It is true. We've got one of each, so we're able to offer year-round swimming. The indoor pool is a great option for dogs who are swimming for therapy or rehab. It's got that sloped entry so they can wade into the water. Our outdoor pool is a little bit larger, and it's 4 foot deep the whole way across. And both of them are saltwater pools, so it's really easy on the dog's skin and coat.
Wow, that's very awesome. So then during the summer months, you have a much deeper pool outside and then a sloped entry shallow pool indoors for the dogs. Tracy, tell the folks how we can get some pool time.
Well, the first thing everyone does is come for an intro swim. We use that time to make sure the dog is comfortable in the water. We make sure they know how to get out of the pool safely, and we go over all the pool rules and etiquette with the clients as well. After that, they're able to schedule private appointments where they have the pool to themselves, or they can invite friends and have a whole group swim going on.
So after a dip in the pool, then it would have to be off to the groomers, right? I mean, our furry friends cannot go out looking their best. Nicole, what are some of the great services your top-notch groomers provide?
Our groomers, they specialize in full service grooms. We can do the basics, whether it be just a bath and a brush out or a blowout. Or for the extra pampered pooches, we can do nail dremels, we can do deodorizing soaks, and also facials.
Wow, man, that sounds like a resort if you ask me. Tracy, I know one of the main programs here at CCC Resorts is the WAGS program. The Steel Flyers dog is enrolled in this program. So why don't you tell the folks what is involved in this and how they can get enrolled?
Yeah, the WAGS program is our primary daycare option at the Windsor. It's designed to be a structured program for people who are looking for a set routine for their dog. They all come on the same days each week, which allows them to have set friends, and we know exactly what's going on with each group. So we do a little bit more activities, and we build more into their daily routine there. But we've got other daycare options as well for people looking for a little less commitment. We do an hourly care where you can drop them off and just pay by the hour. We also do a day stay option, which is great for the dogs that prefer human friends instead of making friends with other dogs. And then we have a traditional daycare option as well if you're looking for the occasional outing for your dog.
Wow, there you have it. A full service groomer, a daycare program, and an indoor and outdoor pool. What more could you ask for? Sure seems like CCC Resorts has everything covered. Remember, DOG, depend on God.
All right, we are back. Okay. You guys want to keep on rolling like this or what? Why not? We're having fun. I can do whatever I want. It's my show, right? Right. John Weichel to the Seattle Kraken. Jared Bull. Corpusala would have been exposed. Yeah, they don't need to. I guess they don't have to protect Merzlikins. I wouldn't take Corpusala. He's terrible. Due to what happened? What's that, Lauren? Uh, okay. Next one is Adam Erne. I don't think Detroit is going to give up Adam Erne. He had a good year last year. They're not going to protect Vladislav Nemeshnikov, that's for sure. It says the Wings also have veterans such as Bobby Ryan, Mark Stahl, and Jonathan Bernier eligible for unrestricted free agency. Franz Nielsen, Danny DeKaiser. I just don't see Erne. No way. Why would you do that? Let me take a look at that. Adam Erne? No way. That's way too good of a player to expose for Detroit. Detroit has like tons of cap room. You're gonna have Dylan Larkin. You could protect Fabry, yes. You're not gonna protect Panic. You're not gonna protect Nemeshnikov. You think you got to protect Zadina now. That's 3. You don't have to protect Bobby Ryan. Jacob Vrana is 4. Svechnikov is 5. Rasmussen is 6. Brome is going back to Europe. And Erne. There's no way you're protecting Erne or leaving Erne off. Like, you're getting nobody from Detroit, really. You're probably going to have to just take Hronek, Chalowski, Hronek, and Stetcher or Lindstrom. Maybe you get Lindstrom or Tony or Troy Stetcher. Like, you're getting nobody. I don't know what they're talking about. There's no way you're going to give up Bernier. Or I think they will protect Svechnikov. I think they will. He had injury problems, but he had a good year last year. But they're not letting Erne go. No way. I can't see it. There's no way. I got to get you guys up on the chat here. On my phone again. Let's see. There we go. I can see it now. Yeah, he had a decent year last year. I think Svechnikov they'll keep over who they have to keep. Yeah, prove me deal. Yeah, it just makes sense. Like, but they don't have to not protect them, so you might as well. The worst they're going to lose is Stetcher, and there goes another defenseman again. So forwards are going to be hard to come by. They got to be able to. They got to take a certain amount of forwards, and there's not many forwards that are coming up here. Like Oilers, Caleb Jones. Again, another defenseman. Somewhere along the line, they got to take forwards here. Let's just go down these. Florida Panthers, Sam Bennett. Are you freaking mad? They think the Florida's going to let Sam Bennett go? What are you talking about? What are you talking about? No way they're taking Sam Bennett. No way. This is Bleacher Report. The Hockey News doesn't have any updated. It's like old. It's all old. They haven't did theirs yet. There's no way in heck they're taking Sam Bennett. Let's look at the Florida Panthers. Florida Panthers. There's no way they're letting Sam Bennett go. Barkov, Huberdeau, probably got it. Still got to protect Hornquist, even though Frank Vetrano is 4, Verhaeghe's 5. Mason Marchment. I don't know. Has Owen Tippett played enough games? Alexander Winberg is gone. You don't. I would not protect Duclair before I would not protect Sam Bennett. Yeah, you're either taking Lemico or Walmart, and then Yandel they'll leave unprotected. Strawman, Uyghur, Gudas. Oh, wait, Forsling. Jeez. No, not Strawman. They'll let Strawman. It'll be Uyghur. They'll let Strawman go. Why would you want to take Strawman? He's overpaid at this point. I think they end up taking like uh it's the only updated one we have, the bleachers. Well, he could head to the KHL, but Seattle might give him a decent try. One more try. They may. Or they could take Juha Lammikko. They got to take a forward here, so. Or they could sign Wenberg to a contract. Free agent contract, something like that. Wenberg would have a great opportunity in Seattle. Oh, he already signed? Okay. So then, yeah, not much there. You take Juha Lammikko, I guess. Forwards are going to be hard to come by for. Chicago, Los Angeles gives up Carl Grundstrom. That'd be awesome if they could get Grundstrom. Let's look at that. That would be really good. I would be more than I would ever expect to get Grundstrom. 1, 2. They got to protect Victor Arvidsson now, so that's 1, 2. I follows 3. Kempe's 4. You don't have to protect Brennan Lemieux. 5. 6. Grundstrom over Athanasiou. Maybe. Maybe. If you could get Grundstrom, you're doing pretty well. Dustin Brown, I wouldn't take Dustin Brown. He's too old. Seattle wouldn't want him. He's 36 years old. He's on the tail end of his career. They'll leave him exposed, but I wouldn't take him. He doesn't have a no movement clause. Oh, no, he doesn't have. It's not a full no movement. Right now, they'd have to leave Sean Walker off, or no, they wouldn't. Curtis McDermott, but you can't take defensemen now. You're gonna have to take forwards. We're gonna have to go through this like really good, really solid. But as it stands, you're probably not going to get too many better forwards in this draft than Grundstrom. So I would take Carl Grundstrom, 23 years old. He never really was going to be an offensive player, but he can play in your bottom 6. Well, yeah, he'll take as many young guys as he can. Grundstrom will be the guy. I do agree with that pick by them. Minnesota Wild, Matt Dumba. I'm pretty sure they're going to protect 8. They're going to do it again, and I mean, if Dumba's available, I suppose you got to take him and you could trade him even. I think you could get value for that and get some forwards. But again, how many defensemen are you going to take here? You only got a certain amount that you can take. I would think I agree with you that maybe they might want to give Rask a shot because he knows him from Carolina. It's possible. Austin Wagner. I would take Grundstrom over Wagner. I think he's got more upside. I was going to look at Minnesota, right? Minnesota. I were Minnesota, where would I be? Right there. Now, if they go 4 defensemen, I, I think they're going to convince. Could they convince Ryan Suter to waive? They're not taking Ryan Suter. There's no way. No way. If they convince Ryan Suter to waive, then there's not much in the cupboard again. Especially if they can convince Zach Parise to waive too. That'd be 1, 2, Foligno, Greenway 4, Hartman, Kaprizov, Fiala. I think Nico Sturm is going to be the guy. Nico Sturm, I'm sure they don't want to get rid of Ryan Hartman. They just love him there. I think Nico Sturm. They'll try to find a way for them to take Nico Sturm. And you might not, again, get much better forwards than Nico Sturm out there. So I would say Nico Sturm. If that's assuming you can get Ryan Suter to waive his no movement clause. Or you can trade Matt Dumba before the draft, which is possible, but it doesn't leave them much in the cupboard. It's possible they could trade Matt Dumba before the draft. It's difficult to do that too, though, because as soon as a team takes a Matt Dumba, they got to protect Matt Dumba. So it would have to be a team that's like so bad on defense, like brutal on defense. They just have no depth on defense. Somebody like New Jersey or something like that, possibly. And you're not going to get much for them because they got all the leverage in the world. There's nobody else that's going to trade for them. So, I mean, they're not going to give you much for them. So that would be the only thing I can think of. Now, if Ryan Suter won't waive, they're in a big pickle because that means they got to protect 8 or just let Dumba go. That's a pretty significant player to just let go. And if they try to protect just 8 forwards, they're going to leave off. Though they might leave off Zuccarello. No, Zuccarello's got a no movement. If they get Parise to waive, 1, 2, 3, Marcus Foligno, then you could have Fiala. No. Oh my gosh. No, they can't do that. They can't do that. Suter's got to waive. I think Suter's got to waive. They got to get Suter to waive or trade Dumba. But as it stands, yeah, Dumba would be the guy. Montreal Canadiens, Jake Allen. That's not who I would take. I can find, there's goaltenders out there that would be happy to play for me. I like Joel Armia. I would give Joel, I don't think they're going to be able to protect Joel Armia. Yeah, I know. I got to keep on moving it every time. I guess I could. I guess I could do that. I got to keep on moving it every time because every time I go like that. Go to Montreal. I guess I can do that. I'm just being lazy. Sorry, guys. I'm a lazy guy. Montreal. Can you see them now? There you go. You can now. It's just when I go back, I'll have to move it over again. Gallagher, Anderson, Toffoli. Caulfield doesn't have to be protected. I believe Suzuki does, though, doesn't he? He's played more than 2. I don't know if he has. He hasn't played. He's only played 2 seasons, so I wonder if he's exempt. Evans. I mean, he's a UFA. They got a whole bunch of UFAs. Dano, Armia. I mean, I think you go offer Philip Dano a contract. I wonder if he would be willing to come over. He's only 28 years old. He'd be a good guy to build your team leadership and defensive responsibility about. But then again, you got defensemen, but we have so many defensemen. I should have wrote all these down. Because as it stands, Edmondson would probably be available too. Matt Dumba to the Leafs? Could be. They could do a money for money contract there. That could be a possibility, actually. I don't know who Edmonton would or Toronto would trade. It would have to be a dollar for dollar. But I mean, it is possible. They could trade Alexander Kerfoot. Yeah, they could trade Alexander Kerfoot and somebody like Travis Dermott. That's possible, actually. I could see that happening. Actually. Yeah, like if he's willing to go there for league minimum, Eric Stahl, that wouldn't be a bad idea. Anyways, I probably don't want to take Jake Allen, right? I can find other goaltenders. I'd rather use it, but then they don't have much else available. Unless you can get a free agent that I try to pull they got a lot of free agents there. Hopefully I can get one of their free agents instead of taking Jake Allen. Luke Cunnin from Nashville? I would definitely be all over that. So the Predators would protect 4 defensemen. Roman Josi, Alice Ekholm, and Dante Fabro. And they would let Luke Cunnin go, who they got for Brody. Well, I'm all over that. They already lost Arvidsson. I wonder if Arvidsson was gone at this time. So let's take a look at it. I'd expose both Ryan Johansson and Matt Duchene. I don't think they're taking either one of those guys. And then Philip Forsberg, Colton Sissons 2, Rocco Grimaldi, Carl Yarncroc 3, 4, Cousins, Eli Toivonen. They don't need to let Cunnin go either. Man, you're not going to be able to find any forwards. Oh, 4. They need 4. Only 4. So, Forsberg, Colton Sissons, Cunnin, and Yarncroc. And just let Nick Cousins go. I'd probably take Nick Cousins off that group. Why would you let Cunnin go? Doesn't make sense. Even at 4-4, I would take Cousins. Ryan Johansson to Seattle, I don't think they would select him. But there was talk with Nashville that they wanted to work out a deal that they take one of their players. If you're offering up if you want me to take Ryan Johansson at $8 million for the next couple of years, you're going to have to give me your first next year. And then I would take him. He's a serviceable player. You could use him. And then that would be done with that. And then they would use that $8 million to go get another center, or especially if it's Matt Duchene. If you want to get rid of Matt Duchene, it's going to cost the first next year for sure. For sure. Well, if they are saying that, then it probably is true. I guess those kind of commentators wouldn't say that unless they had some inside stuff. So those are two big guys to have out of there. It gives Montreal a bit of a chance. There's no way in God's green earth the New Jersey Devils are letting Igor Sharangovich go. Are you freaking mad? What? No way. There's no way. Are you freaking crazy? I I'm not even okay. Why would they have to give up any of those guys? Kukonin, Sharangovich. Like I can't see why they would have to give up any of them. Why? This must have been while they still had Palmieri in the lineup when they did this. But even then, New Jersey's got nobody. You got Heischer. You don't need. I would let Ryan. I'd let Andreas Johnson go before I. Heischer, Wood, Bratt, Zaka, Kaukinen, Sharangovich, Heischer, Wood, Bratt, Zaka, 4. Kaukinen, Sharangovich, 5, 6. And you could even protect Johnson and just let Merkley go. Like, I don't know what the heck they're thinking. You don't need to worry about defensemen. The worst that's going to go from New Jersey is Merkley. I have no idea how they came to that conclusion. Let's see what they said here. Miles Wood for sure. Oh, I didn't see Wood. Maybe that's it. Where was Wood injured? Is that the problem? Where was Wood there? I didn't see him. Oh yeah, Wood. Miles Wood. No, 1, 2, 3, 4. No. 5, Jack Hughes, right. 6, 7. I let Andreas Johnson go. Like, he's a meh forward. What do you need him for? And they'll probably take him too. There's no need for him. Hughes is exempt, then you don't need to take him either. So I don't know what the heck they're talking about. This must have been when Palmieri was still in the lineup and maybe Zayak. That must have been it. Had to be. But even then, like Sharangovich had a great season last year. I can't see Sharangovich being the guy. And defense, you don't need to protect Subban. Severson, like Siegenthaler and Butcher, you can protect you don't even need to protect Butcher and you can protect them. So you're not getting a defenseman out of them. I think they're gonna take Nick Merkley. They're gonna have a lot of grinders on this team. Their team's gonna be full of like third and fourth guys. What's next? This is interesting. Oh, Nick Leddy. I'm not taking Nick Leddy. No way. Unless they give me a pick to go with them, there's no way I'm taking Nick Leddy. He's not they said The Isles could leave Letty unprotected, making him a tempting target for the Kraken. No, he's not a tempting target for the Kraken. I wouldn't take him unless you're going to give me a pick for him. With all the defensemen we see available here, there's no reason. Can't see the players now. No way. I already went over this with, I just did a video on this. From the Islanders, they'll probably get Koivula or something like that, but there's no way I'm taking Letty. Maybe they do take Letty, but they're going to have to give up a pick. Same as to get him for sure. Hey Mercer, how you doing, buddy? We're just going down seeing, we're checking out Bleacher Report's expansion projection. New York Rangers give up Colin Blackwell. Okay, we shouldn't even be doing this. Colin Blackwell. I can't see Nick Leddy going to Seattle. What's your reaction to, honestly, there's no way, let's look at it, okay? And then I'm going to have to move everything over again because you guys won't be able to see. There we go. Okay. We'll go to the New York Rangers. If they got to give up Blackwell, that's a big boost for... I'm calling up the Rangers all day if I'm Edmonton and asking about Blackwell. I would love to have Blackwell. They want to trade Letty because they want to get a scorer for their top six. That's why. They're not going to get it. They need to get some cap space to get a scorer for Barzal. It's enough already. He's not very good defensively. He's a good offensive guy, but okay. Now you got Panarin, Kreider, no movement clause. Zibanejad, no movement clause. Ryan Strome, maybe they do got to give up Blackwell. 3. Don't need to do Kevin Rooney. McNevich 4. Philip Heidel's 5. There's no way they're giving up Blackwell. They'll give up Julian Gauthier or even Brad Howden before they give up Blackwell. 1, 2, 3. Ryan Strome's 4. Buchnevich is 5. Heidel is 6. And either Blackwell is 7. 1, 2, 3, 4. 5, 6, 7. Howden or Gauthier. I'm not giving up Blackwell before I give up Howden or Gauthier. Are you freaking kidding me? You can have Howden. They need a center. We'll take Howden. Yeah, well, if you can find a place for Bailey and Mayfield, you could. They could find a place for Mayfield. But, over Letty, I would take Mayfield over Letty. He's younger. But that's assuming you can't get rid of Letty, I guess. If you can't trade Letty, maybe. Mayfield's not making all that much. I'm not sure that, this is very difficult to trade wingers at $5 million a year anywhere in the league. Because they got to be better than the wingers than they already have. How many wingers is Bailey going to be better than in the league? And it's going to also have to be a team that is looking to win the cup next year. Go read my comments. Seattle would be stupid enough to take Subban? No. There's no way they'd be able to take Subban. If they can get rid of Subban, yeah. I think they'll just ride it. Nobody's taking that contract. They would have to staple some picks to that, and they're a rebuilding team, so they'll just let Subban ride out his contract, I'm pretty sure. But for sure, I'm taking Brett Howden if I'm the New York Rangers. There's no way they're getting Colin Blackwell. If the New York Rangers are stupid enough to put Colin Blackwell out there, yeah, I'm all over it. He's only 28. Now, he only had one good season. Maybe that's why they're looking at it that way. Because he had 22 points in 47 games. But he's got more upside than the other. Howden is really just treaded water the whole time he was there. But he's only 23, and he could have upside. Julian Gauthier is really just kind of put himself into a fourth spot line role. I would take Brett Howden. Do you think they take Gauthier? I think they take Howden because centers are going to be hard for them to find. That's pretty much why. Just for that reason alone. All right, next. You guys can't see it now, so I have to bring it down here. Ottawa, Chris Tierney. That might be the guy. I was looking at it. They may not have much choice but to take Chris Tierney. Ottawa doesn't have much to offer. He's played on bad teams his whole career. He's not making that much money. He's only making $3.5 million. You could buy out Subban, I suppose, but they don't really need to. They can just ride him out. Bishop does have a no movement clause, yeah. We can look at it for Ottawa, but I'm pretty sure like that when I looked at it, it was really all they had because they're such a young team. I'm not even going to look at it. It is the guy. There is no real other guy. There's no defenseman to take unless they want to take Goodbranson. And with all the defensemen we just talked about, they're going to need a forward. He's a center. Yeah, Tierney seems like the guy to me for sure. Yeah, Wedgwood is a possibility, but who did we say they were going to take? Oh, it slipped my mind. Who did we say we were going to take? Again, I got to do it again. You guys can't. Okay, Shane Gostisbehere. Flyers say Shane Gostisbehere. It's possible that the Flyers could get away with them taking Gostisbehere if they leave him exposed, which I imagine he did. He did have a pretty good Gostisbehere did have a pretty good season last year. He also Hackstall. Yeah, Zaitsev, they just have enough defensemen. I think they're going to need a forward out of that. They'll probably take a forward from Ottawa. But you could be right. Zaitsev's possible. They'd have to probably, if they were going to give up a pick to get rid of him or something, then maybe they do that. Hackstall, Shane Gostisbehere never did better than, well, I can't say never did better, but was actually did pretty well with Hackstall. The thing is he's making $4.5 million for a couple of years here. I would probably try to fake him out and see if you can get a third or fourth to go with it. Just basically say you're going to take Knack, Andre Kubel, and we don't want the $4.5 million. Plus, we don't need defensemen, so it's going to cost you a pick. Otherwise, I don't know. I'm on the fence about it. it would really, if Hackstall says, hey, you know what, I think this guy can be a player for us for a long time. I know what makes him tick and we can get him back to where he used to be. Maybe I do it. But Frederick Anderson to Seattle might make sense if you can work out a contract with them where like a games played contract or something. Yeah, he was on waivers. I think I would take probably. The thing was, he didn't have a bad second half. It's possible that Philadelphia could say, you know what, he played pretty good in the second half. We'll just keep rolling with them. We don't want to give up our picks. So if you don't take him, you don't take him. And they lose Knack and it's over. Or Philadelphia can pony up a real big pick, which is what I want to do. And I would take a first round pick, staple it to Voracek, and get rid of that $8 million declining contract. And then you've got some room to do some stuff there in Philly. Teddy Bluger, yeah, probably. I mean, there's not much to take from Pittsburgh for sure. There's so much not to take. I'm surprised you could even get Teddy Bluger, to tell you the honest truth. We'll take a look at Pittsburgh here, but so you got to protect Malkin and Crosby, Gunsel, 3. You don't really have to protect Zucker, but they may. Rust is 4. Tanev is 5. Kasperi Kapanen is 6. McCann is 7. Yeah. You'd have Ivan Rodriguez. You don't have to protect Carter, I don't think. Sam Lafferty, Skeever, Bluger, Reese, or Reese. Would you take Bluger over Reese or Rodriguez? He's a UFA. Okay, they don't need to worry about him. Bluger or Reese, everybody? What would you take? And then for defensemen, Letang, he has a no movement clause. You leave Matheson out. I don't think they're going to take him. Marino. And, what about Pedersen? I'd take Marcus Pedersen if they leave Demelin off. They could be in trouble, actually. I got to take Marcus Pedersen. I know I don't need defensemen, but if Pedersen's available, if they take Dumoulin instead of Pedersen and Marino, then I'm taking Pedersen. Yeah, they signed Drury, yeah. Anyways, I got Pedersen. I don't know why. I mean, they could do something to protect those guys, but or somehow like trade one of them or something. I wouldn't want to lose Pedersen for nothing. Like I'd have to I'd do something there. But as it stands, I'm taking Pedersen. Why do you say no way? We got to move back again. Dylan Gambrell, really? San Jose can't find a way to protect Dylan Gambrell? I'd be all over Dylan Gambrell. I'll tell you what, if they take like guys like Gambrell, this is going to be one tough team. It's going to be physically tough. They're not going to score much, but it's going to be tough. They're going to be hard to play against the Seattle Kraken, for sure. San Jose Sharks. Yeah, they're kind of screwed because they got a lot of no movement clauses, I think. So they'd have to go Couture. They got to protect Evander Kane, even though apparently they want to trade him. Meyer, 3. Hurdle, 4. LeBanc, 5. I think they got to protect Barabanov, 6. I think I'd keep Gambrell over Rudolph Balcers, maybe. Or Gregory or Noah or Donato. All restricted free agents. So yeah, he's a good heart and soul guy. Chad Ruedel, that's possible. But if Donato's available, maybe you're right. He can play center too. I think they would take Donato. I agree. So we got Donato would be our best offensive player so far. Let's make sure we get through all of these before the time's up. They got Vince Dunn. You got to figure St. Louis will find. I don't know what Dunn did in St. Louis, but he did piss people off a lot. Sharks are horrid bad. Where is St. Louis? Have they've gone down? Where are they cap space wise? Should be right around the middle. Yeah, exactly, almost in the middle. They would have to. I guess they have to protect Falk, Krug, and Parayko. So, as it stands right now, Dunn would be available. He's 24 years old. He's probably the guy you got to pick, unless they find a way to trade him beforehand. Forward wise, you got O'Reilly. They can leave Tarasenko out. They seem not to want to care about him, but I imagine they figure he's got some sort of value. 1, 2, 3. Perron, 4. 5, 6, 7. You could have Barbashev. You got Mackenzie McEachern. One, 2, 3, 4. Samuel Blais. Would he be available? I'd be all over Blais. 5. Jordan. Yeah, I'm taking Blais. They could be in big trouble here. 1, 2. Braden Shea, 3. Perron, 4. They could let Perron go again. They're going to take their young players. So, Jordan Kyrou and Robert Thomas. Jaden Schwartz is a free agent. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. They're going to leave Perron out. And maybe Zachary Sanford. And then you've got Perron and Ivan Barbashev. We might have to take Perron. He probably would be able to get some. He's only making $4 million. He'd probably be able to get a draft pick at the deadline for Perron. I'd probably take him Perron. I like Barbashev too, but maybe you take Barbashev because he's 25. He's a restricted free agent. You could give him a shot to finally get some offense. Not a bad move. I like Barbashev too. I just don't know if his offensive upside is. It's on the fence, because if you can get a second for Perron later, maybe that might be worth it. Yeah, he can play center. That would be interesting. For sure. All right, let's keep going here. We got 8 minutes, so. Where are we here? Can you see what I'm doing? No, you can't. Move it over here. Okay. Toronto, I think, will be next. No, Tampa. Tyler Johnson, yes. Okay. I think they will get Tyler Johnson, but it's going to cost them more than. It's going to cost them I think it's going to cost them Joseph and a pick, but I don't need to go through it because I've gone through it enough. Tyler Johnson would likely be the pick. That would be our top line center. We'd have Tyler Johnson, Ted Donato, Barbashev. Who else do we have? Not a great team, but a good, fairly deep team. We'd be very defensive. We wouldn't be scoring much, but if we get some good goaltending, it would be pretty tough for us to. Toronto Maple Leafs, Travis Dermott. I don't really like him, but he might. I think they're going to try to pawn Kerfoot on us, and I'll probably take Kerfoot. I would probably take Kerfoot off their hands. He can play in lots of different areas. They're going to need offense. He's young. Yeah, I would probably take Kerfoot over Travis Dermott. I just don't like Travis Dermott. I don't think he's very good at all. Like, I don't like him, so I wouldn't take him. What do you guys think? Smith, who's going to take that contract though? He's making $6.5 million. This is two organizations that are basically throwing him aside. He's small. He's not very good defensively, and he's only average offensively. So I don't know if there's anybody out there who's going to take that unless they retain. And Vancouver's not really in a spot to retain. My question, though, is who would you have? Would you take? Who would you rather have, Dermott or Kerfoot from Toronto? They're going to try to trade him, but I think they're going to have a difficult time to trade him. What's next? Vancouver, Braden Holtby. I guess if you can't do any better. Yeah, we haven't had. They got to pick a certain amount of goaltenders. So, I wonder, were we missing any goaltenders all the way up here? Like there was no. The St. Louis Blues, they could have. No, you're not going to do that. San Jose Sharks, no. Pittsburgh. Oh, maybe, you know what? What about DeSmith? I probably would have taken DeSmith over Teddy Bluger. I never even thought about that. He's younger. Vancouver, and finally Washington, TJ Oshie. I'm not taking TJ Oshie off their hands. Sorry, I'm just not. I think he's from Vancouver area, though, and I think that's the reason why. But yeah, I would take Vanacek before I would take Oshie. I just don't need that kind of 34-year-old player. I just don't need him. I don't know. He's got tradable value. He's probably got some value. He put 34 points up in 42 games. He's probably his contract's pretty large, but if a team was desperate for offense, they might take it. And Winnipeg, they're going to lose a defenseman, really? Logan Stanley? For sure, I'd be all over Logan Stanley if he's actually available. But why would he be available? They have no defenseman. Like, you would think for sure the Winnipeg's going to lose a forward. Yeah, I can't see it. Winnipeg Jets, and I got to move it over so you guys can see. Finally, we did get through it. Winnipeg Jets. Okay, we'll go through Winnipeg and we'll be done. We did it. Our critique of the. And remember, guys, I'm going to be back on Monday, but Tuesday and Thursdays I'll be doing evenings from now on. Friday I might have a show, but it won't be live. So we don't know yet. We may. I might do a recorded show on Friday. Wheeler, Connor, Scheifele, Ehlers 4, Dubois 5, Lowry 6. No, you take either Appleton or Kopp. What are you talking about? Morrissey, DeMello, Forbert's a UFA. He protects. You let Niku go. You let Sammy Niku go. You don't let. And I'm not. They're not going to take Sammy Niku. So what are they talking about? I'm taking Appleton if they let him go. I'm taking either Appleton or Kopp. Without a doubt, I'm taking Appleton or Kopp. Well, only reason why I would think that they would take him is if they could trade him. And doesn't Washington think that they can trade Oshie? Like, why would you expose him? I'll tell you what, if Washington can't trade Oshie and not get anything back in return, then that just tells you how bad it is out there for Cap. Because they want nothing in return. So they can have cap space to fill other parts of their roster. But, should be interesting. But that's our full 42. I will see you tomorrow. And then again, like I said, Friday will be recorded. Watch tonight with Off the Wall John. He'll be doing a show tonight. And I will be watching too. Playoffs tonight. Have a great day, everybody. Oh, I gotta find it. Okay, bye.